Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Conquest demonstration. I realized recently when thinking about the videos I've made thus far that despite being my profile picture and in a way the channel's mascot, Ophelia has not once appeared in any of my videos. Today, I wanted to rectify that while also showcasing what I believe to be her true strength. Ophelia's biggest claim to fame as a unit is her late game build that combines the skills Vantage and Life and Death, which gained popularity within the community thanks in large part to fellow YouTuber and Conquest enthusiast Zoran. It's a fun and flashy build with some legitimate power behind it, allowing her to hit even the highest of one-shot thresholds in the late game, and demolish hordes of enemies before they even get a chance to attack, provided that she doesn't miss or get screwed over by particular skills like Aegis and Warding Blow. A lot of the discussion around how good of a unit Ophelia is has since primarily revolved around this build, such as whether or not it's worth the investment or how strong it truly is in practice. And that's a bit of a shame to me because while Life and Death can help Ophelia accomplish some things in the late game, it is in my opinion far what makes her such a strong unit overall. Instead, I want to show off how good of an enemy phase unit Ophelia is long before Life and Death comes online, due to how well she makes use of 3 tools better than most units in the game, those being Attack Stance, Nosferatu, and Vantage. Nosferatu is also something you should be familiar with if you're a viewer of Zoran's channel, or just someone who enjoys using Odin. Despite having some restrictions put on it compared to its previous incarnation in Awakening, the ability to heal yourself mid-combat can still remain very potent in the right circumstances. Odin is the poster child for using it too, due to his bulk and accuracy, especially since his middle-of-the-road speed isn't really an issue when you're using a weapon that can't double enemies. The most common way people use Nosferatu is in guard stance, and it's understandable why. It makes you immune to enemy dual strikes, and lets you use guard gauge. Not to mention the stat boosts from your parrot partner are always appreciated. However, there's a lot of merit to using Nosferatu in attack stance as well. The most obvious is that it's a lot easier to one-round with it in attack stance, since you can't double with it. Sometimes two-rounding a group of enemies is perfectly fine and has no issues, but if the map that you're on has some sort of time pressure, or if those enemies have chip damage or debuff skills, traditional Nos tanking can prove to be difficult. The second, and sometimes underappreciated benefit of attack stance is the extra hit. You'll always gain a bare minimum of 10 hit from the stance, though it can scale depending on your support level with your partner, or if Corrin is your partner and you have a C rank or higher with them. When wielded by a high magic dark mage or sorcerer such as Ophelia, this method of Nos tanking can allow you to reliably one-round groups of enemies as opposed to two-rounding, while also giving her dual strike partner a bit of extra EXP and a significant amount of extra weapon EXP. The last piece of this whole puzzle is Vantage, which Ophelia can inherit from her father to be the only unit in the game who can become a Vantage mage at the cost of only 1 seal. Well, okay, aside from Forest, I guess, but he comes much later and is more geared towards support anyways. Vantage can be used alongside both Nosferatu and Attack Stance in interesting ways, but I've rambled on long enough about hypotheticals, so I think it's about time we show rather than tell. Our goal here is to beat Ophelia's Paralogue while getting all of the villages, training Ophelia, and working on the supports and weapon rank goals of the rest of our team. This includes raising Elise's tome rank, getting Kaze support points with both Beruka and Silas, giving Charlotte a couple more levels before promotion, and more. For those curious, I'm playing this Paralogue after completing Chapter 15, with the only child Paralogue completed before this point being Nina's. The meal and tonics affecting everyone's stats here will be listed in the description. With all that out of the way though, let's get to showing off what Ophelia can do. We start off by having Laszlo rally, which is mainly important for letting Elise double the wyverns in the bottom left corner. Otherwise, everyone else is setting up to do some enemy phasing on either this turn or the next. Keaton and Charlotte will be doing a lot of that when they can, since they're still unpromoted. Odin also hands his daughter a Thunder +1, a Nosferatu, and a Magic Tonic, which she'll need going forwards. Azura and Laszlo need to be paired, so she'll be singing for him here whenever possible. Lastly, Kaze heads for the top left corner along with his best friend and girlfriend. You might also notice that I'm using a bit of an unusual pick here, that being Adventurer Felicia with the Shining Bow. It's a bit of a restrictive build since it does require her to marry Niles, but she's got a solid early game in Bow Knight and gets her staff rank back when going Adventurer. Being a servant also means she gets access to early rally skill for some utility, and a lucky 7 to offset the iffy hit rate of the Shining Bow. It's a fun build, and I would definitely recommend trying it out sometime if you haven't. Shoutouts to VexJL for putting me onto Bow Knight Felicia's early game. I probably wouldn't have tried it out if not for his recommendation. On to the stars of today's show. Ophelia and Odin want to enemy phase all of these guys in front of the Spirit Dust Village. Their hit rates can vary a little bit depending on where they stand due to there being a void boosting terrain present, but having them stand in the formation shown here ensures that only one enemy can take advantage of the bushes or pillars. Felicia's rally skill provides a minor but appreciated reliability boost. Something about this map that isn't too big of a deal when playing casually, but very annoying when trying to record a clear for a YouTube video, is the variable enemy movement. These enemies here and Senno's group can have their positions vary greatly depending on the positions of the player's units and a level of RNG. Normally I wouldn't care too much, but I want to get a relatively low turn count here for the flex, so having things vary like that and potentially slow me down is pretty annoying. Regardless though, we dispatch of those enemies and prepare to watch the father-daughter duo work their magic. And their javelin too, for that matter. It's a really nice showcase of how Ophelia can sometimes be tankier than Odin using Nosferatu. Lower defense means you take more damage, sure, but her higher damage means she heals more off of Nos, and being able to one-round more easily in attack stance means that speed is even less of a concern for her than it is for Odin. The cherry on top is Vantage, which means that she could survive these last two enemies, even though the damage she took outpaced her healing and put her at low HP.
For those curious, the reason that the front diviner attacked Odin instead of Ophelia is because Conquest AI actually sees Vantage, and knows that Ophelia will go first and kill them when it's active, so they'll go for other targets they can actually deal damage to if another is available. The back one couldn't do that though, because she was the only one in his range. Silas is known for being one of the best soul ninja candidates in the game, and for good reason. His well-rounded stats and access to great skills are a perfect fit for the role. But Beruka doesn't get nearly enough recognition for also being quite good at it, with her high skill ensuring higher chances for soul proc, and Selena friendship allowing her to get both the fighter and mercenary skills from hero without needing a heart. Hence me building her support here with Kaze. Here with Odin, I make a maneuver that might seem a bit odd, since I could just attack the Outlaw at one range to have better hit rates with Heartseekers so that Ophelia can finish him off. But I wanted him adjacent to Felicia for her to be able to kill the Diviner on enemy phase, as well as Ophelia to be in a position to be dropped south next turn. Again, if I was allowing myself to play slower, I could have made this more reliable by giving him a sword to dual strike with perfect hit, and simply kill the Diviner on player phase instead. But I haven't used the Javelin so the Diviner can't attack uncountered. Down here at the bottom, I want Keaton to get one more level before promotion, so he repeats the enemy phase he did on turn 1 against these bottom reinforcements. Although I could go out of my way to grab this village right now, there's no rush to do so, and it's actually a good idea to leave a village open until near the end of this map, since the Outlaws will prioritize moving towards them over attacking newer units, even when they could score a kill. Ophelia's dodge seems a little annoying here, since it means I'll have to set up Vantage against another enemy later. But it's not that big of a deal, since we'll get an easy opportunity to do so anyways. I ended up giving Elise a magic tonic to one-shot this armor with the bolt axe, not knowing that she'd get the magic level up on turn 2 that would make it possible with a +2 magic meal anyways. Oh well, 150 gold wasted isn't that much to be upset about. Over here where the main action's happening, we can use that fact mentioned earlier about the Outlaw's AI to let Selena take this guy on player phase, knowing full well that the Outlaw won't snipe her out of the sky on enemy phase. Felicia is actually capable of one-rounding Senno reliably since her own Lucky 7 cancels out his. But I don't do that because I want to feed the kill to Charlotte instead. That being said, doing so is a bit tricky currently given the positions of both our units and the enemies. Ultimately, though, Laszlo is able to take down most of Senno's HP before Charlotte swoops in for the kill. If I were to buy an extra Bronze Axe for Charlotte to use, this would be 100 hit from her. But it really goes to show how annoying her hit issues can be while training her, that she'd need a Bronze Axe even after getting a bunch of hit from Heartseeker, Attack Stance, and Supportive. Most of the mission is over at this point, and now it's just cleanup work. Keaton does just that and earns himself his final unpromoted level in the process. It's worth noting that while Charlotte missing this dual strike denies her a bit of EXP, you still get weapon EXP for your attacks if you miss, which is nice. B axes will really help the girl out. Up here at the top, we mainly just want Charlotte to get one last level, as well as some extra support points between Beruka and Kaze. Ophelia attacks this mercenary to put herself into vantage range and to set up the kill for Charlotte. She also lunges to ensure that both Charlotte and Odin have enough room to maneuver here properly. The enemy hit rates on Odin here are pretty varied, but the only important thing to know is that he can't die because if he gets hit by both attacks in the first combat, Vantage will be active for the second. Here though, he dodged one, so he just survived straight up. Either way, it nets him 2 kills. One nice thing about units who do so much enemy phasing like this is that their weapon experience grows really well, especially in attack stance setups like this, where either unit getting attacked gains weapon EXP for both of them. It's really nice for the extra weapon rank and weapon triangle bonuses, even if you're not using any higher level weapons. Speaking of weapon rank, I could simply switch Odin to the Iron Axe so his dual strike kills for Ophelia here, but attacking the Apothecary with the Javelin first gives Ophelia an extra point of weapon experience. Lastly, Charlotte pairs with Corrin to end the map and get herself her last level before promotion. That's Ophelia's Paralogue completed in 7 turns. Not the fastest clear in the world, but certainly not slow either, and we were able to do so while accomplishing all of our goals, and showing how well Ophelia performs here with nothing but a magic tonic and a good dual strike. But that's not all I have to show off today, because this is Ophelia when she's at her weakest. What about when she's able to promote and take advantage of things like preps and supports? To answer that, let's look at a main story map a bit further along in the game. Here we are at Chapter 18, home to the infamous Wary Fighter Generals. Usually, one-rounding these enemies is preserved for player phase, since most units need a dual strike to do so, and they hit you pretty hard physically. Not for Ophelia, though. She's more than capable of sweeping through them all. Since we last saw her, she's promoted to Sorcerer, gained a few extra levels, and has received 1 Spirit Dust. Thanks to the Calamity Gate and a Magic Tonic, she's able to hit an impressive 31 damage against all of these Lance Generals on her own, more than enough for a strong magical or effective weapon dual strike to finish them off. And with Vantage, survivability isn't an issue either. She doesn't just have to stop at the generals either. These paladins and bow knights are also no threat as long as we choose the right weapons to use. If we really wanted to, we could take this to an extreme and have her take on the heroes and sorcerers too if we played our cards just right. But there's no need for Ophelia to hog all its spotlight when we have other units we want to use too. Besides, Ophelia can't be in two places at once anyhow. Unlike the previous mission where she was primarily supported by her father, here she'll be doing all of her combat with her mother. While Odin can provide effective damage dual strikes as a master of arms, Elise can stand to gain some extra hit from getting up to B rank axes. And I want to show that you don't always need both units in an attack stance pair to have Vantage for them to sweep. Otherwise, we're mostly bringing the same units as last time, with the exception of an underleveled Camilla because Rose's Thorns really is just that good. This won't take as much time as the previous map, and I'm going to be talking a bit less about the clear itself and a bit more about Ophelia as a unit in general. So, let's just get things started.
Okay, let's go!
I'll help.
The heroes on the left side of the map can be fought without getting enfeebled, since you can trick the enemy staff AR into targeting the wrong blue unit. But you can also just fight through the enfeeble straight up. Selena can hit 29 speed with Fancy Footwork and Inspiring Song, which puts her at 25 after enfeeble, enough to double and one-round the heroes.
I'm with you.
Let's do this! Ophelia, where's the center?
Meanwhile, Silas has some dagger rank to build, so he can start to make use of Soul,
Together
so he
we
starts
shall
making progress for the right side group.
On guard!
Let's see how this goes.
Such are the whims of fate.
Oh, what a pain in the butt! I'll take care of this.
It's over.
Calamity Gate here makes it near guaranteed that this first general will put Ophelia in Vantage range. From there, she is now functionally invincible as long as she's adjacent to Elise. Selena doesn't have the best odds of hitting this hero because he has Duelist Blow, but it doesn't matter much. If she misses like she does here, she can just finish this guy off on player phase, and the rest of them don't have Duelist Blow.
The chosen hero arrives.
With Odin pair up and Rose's Thorns, Kaze can kill the remaining sorcerers even through Enfeeble.
Watch out for this!
Let's end this here.
We've got trouble.
Here I am.
Fine, I'll protect you. I've got your back. Be careful.
You'll be all right.
What should we do? Fine. Ophelia Dusk is with you.
Here, Ophelia learns Vengeance, which isn't quite as useless as you might expect. Don't get me wrong, you should never rely on it for getting a kill, but if Ophelia's dual strike partner doesn't have 100% hit, then a crit or a vengeance proc will allow Ophelia to kill without relying on the dual strike. allowing crits and vengeance to serve as a potential minor boost in reliability. It's not much, but it's at least a bit more of a niche than a couple other proc skills like Luno or Lethality. Although, for this clear, I would have unequipped it if I could, because Elise basically has perfect hit this entire clear anyways, and Vengeance ended up denying her a handful of dual strikes.
Don't be a crybaby. Say me.
Yikes!
We stand together. Be well, friends. Your battle has ended. My aching blood! Leave it.
What now? Luminary uppercut! Oh, sweet relief, that's over. We can do this together. Here we go!
Ophelia uses lightning from this tile, even though attacking at one range would have gotten her perfect hit, because it allows Elise to stay out of range of these generals while still supporting her daughter. Not too much happens for the rest of this clear, it's mostly just me moving Ophelia forwards and showing her kill things. If I were playing normally, I would have also had the rest of my units take on Zola and the enemies guarding his room.
Look who's here!
Instead, though, I want to take this time to talk about my general thoughts on Ophelia as a unit, both her strengths and her weaknesses. If it wasn't obvious already, I do think she's quite as strong as an enemy phase unit in a way that other frail mages like Nyx and Felicia can't replicate as easily due to her access to Vantage from her father, not to mention how high her raw magic is compared to Odin.
I'm with you.
While Life and Death in the late game can help her reach one-shot threshold without an attack stance partner, if that was all Ophelia was good for, I don't think she'd be all that worth trouble. I hope this video has shown you that that's not the case though, that she could start being a major enemy phase sweeper much earlier than level 15 promoted. Don't get me wrong, she is not perfect. Certain enemies she doesn't match up as well into, like paired up enemies, or ones with certain skills like Warding Glow.
We can do this.
But I think that with this unit, people sometimes miss the forest with the trees, and assume that her advantage sweeping is an unreliable gimmick just because she can't solo an entire map with 100% consistency.
Got this!
This ignores the very simple fact that unlike some flashy demonstration videos on YouTube, in an actual playthrough, you don't have to solo a whole map with Ophelia. You have a whole bunch of other units to deploy too. If Ophelia sweeps half the map on enemy phase and allows other units to take on the rest of the enemies she's not good against, that still makes her a great contributor in the same way that some other min-max units like Kaze are. Don't get me wrong though, there are moments where it is just easier to use a traditional enemy phase unit who survives by using good bulk
We
guard,
can do this together.
such as her fellow mage Leo, who I do consider to be a better unit than her for the record.
Leave it to me.
In my mind, Ophelia is a very solid A-tier unit. She's not as easy to use as someone like Leo, but in exchange has higher peaks in her performance in maps like this one, where setting up Vantage on her to sweep the generals is less effort than stacking enough defense on Leo to survive them all, especially since he needs to tank the enemy dual strikes as well if he wants to be able to one-round on enemy phase. Attack stance enemy phasing also has additional benefits compared to doing so in guard stance, and I don't just mean the extra accuracy, as good as that is. The dual striker receives extra experience points and, more importantly, weapon experience for every combat Ophelia does. Hence why Elise is almost at B axes now, and would have already gotten there if Vengeance didn't proc fight as much. That's about all I've got for today though. I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed the demonstrations and my yapping.
The chosen
Have a good one, and I'll see you all another time.
Here we go.